Hi, everyone, and welcome back to How the Wise One Grows, where we have mindful conversations and meditations that help you live with intention. Today's meditation is going to focus on trusting your intuition and stepping into your strength. And I like to call this tapping into your inner Gabby. So if you listen to our last two episodes, that will make a lot more sense. And if you missed them, this is your cue to pause what you're doing right now and download those episodes, add them to your queue so that you hear them immediately because they're amazing. Episode 104, Gabby talks about her journey being raised in and leaving the Mormon church, and how she trusted herself and tapped into her inner strength and intuition to leave the church, despite what all the eldermen were telling her. And in episode 105, if you already didn't think Gabby was astounding, you will admire her even more as she shares about her husband Colton's battle with cancer and how she and him navigated that journey and how she has dealt with grief and loss since. I truly believe that Gabby is one of the strongest human beings out there, and that we can all tap into this intuition and strength that she has tapped into. And that's what we're going to do here together today. So find a space that feels safe and supportive for you, and we'll get started. And before we get started, I just want to share a couple quick ways you can support this podcast and continue to make this offering possible. So it might be surprising, but one of the best and easiest things you can do is to leave a review for this podcast. So leaving reviews in the podcast world is like whispering to the algorithm gods and helps more people find this podcast. So leave a review and share an episode you love with a friend so that more and more people can hear this podcast and tap into their inner wisdom. Another way you can support the podcast is by joining the Dream Team. And we have some of the coolest people in the world on the Dream Team. And they support this podcast every month for as little as $3 a month. So you can think of it as a little matcha or coffee date for these conversations and meditations. And that helps to support the operating costs that go into this offering. One more thing I really want to share. If you love these conversations and meditations as much as I do, you can join our free intentional living community on Discord. This is where we continue all of the conversations that we have on the podcast. We set intentions every week, and it's a space for you to connect with fellow listeners and community members. So there's links in the show notes to join all of these things. And most importantly, thank you for listening and showing up today and for your support. We wouldn't be here without you, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. All right, it's time to tap into our intuition and inner strength. I recommend doing this practice somewhere you feel safe and supported and that you can drop in, relax, maybe rest your eyes. However, if you're driving or on a walk, that's totally fine too. You can also bookmark this and come back to it and do it again when you're in a space where you can be still for a moment. But wherever you are, let's just take a moment to shift away from whatever was happening before this and land here together. So let's start by using our senses to do that. You can start with your sense of sight. And just take a moment to notice where you are right now. Notice what's happening around you. If it feels safe and supportive for you, and if you aren't driving, you can gently rest your eyes or soften your gaze at a point in front of you. And start to notice any sounds that you can hear. Notice where your body makes contact with the earth. and all points that are touching the earth. Know that the earth has held so much before you and will continue to carry so much after you, that it's got you. It can hold you here in this moment. Let the shoulders soften down the back as you take a big breath in and a big breath out. 2 more. Inhale, fill your chest, fill your belly with air. Exhale, open your mouth, let it out. Inhale, fill your chest, fill your belly with air. Exhale, let it all go. 1 more inhale. And exhale. And I invite you now to gently scan your body from the tip of your head to the tips of your toes. And without judgment, without an agenda, just notice what is present and what is alive for you here. Just take mental inventory. And if there's any area that wants some attention, anything that's speaking to you, go back to that point. Don't think about it. Just breathe into what you're feeling here. Be with the sensations that are present. And trust what your body is bringing attention to. I invite you now to think about a time when you had a gut feeling about something and it turned out to be true. And start to time travel and picture that sensation, that gut feeling, as clearly as you can. Where in the body did you feel this? What did it feel like? Did it have a texture, a temperature, a weight? What were you wearing? Where were you? What was happening when you had this feeling? Paint this picture in all the details in your mind as clearly as you can. And then think about what it felt like when you realized that that gut feeling, that intuition was right. Note what that felt like in the body. And picture that moment as clearly as you can. Now I want you to bring about the sensation of what a yes feels like in the body. So picture in your mind now as clearly as you can, like what is an immediate yes to you? Something that there's no question about, that you want to do or that you love. Maybe like your dog. I'm thinking of my dog Luna. Like she just feels like a total yes. Or going on your dream trip. Whatever that yes is to you, picture it. Imagine that it's here. And notice what that yes feels like in the body. Notice if your body leans forward or backwards or sways. Notice where in the body you feel that sensation of yes. Notice the details of it, its temperature and texture. Just take a mental imprint of what yes feels like here. And now think of something that is an immediate no to you. Maybe it's like a food that makes you want to gag, or a person that you want nothing to do with, or a situation that just feels like ick to you. Picture that no, right? That's the option in front of you right now, and just notice what your body's doing. Again, does it lean forward or back or sway? What is its texture, its temperature, its location in the body? Again, observing the details and sensations of no as clearly as you can. Now think of a time when you felt really, really strong and powerful. Maybe when you stood up for yourself against a bully, or maybe you think of when Gabby was in that room full of men and she said no and stood up for herself, or advocated for Colton against doctors. Think of a moment like that for you. A time where you felt really strong and empowered and like you could do anything. Picture where you were, what you were wearing, who was around you, what was happening. Notice what that strength felt like in the body. Where in the body did you feel it? Did it have a texture, a temperature, a weight, a smell, a taste? Take a mental imprint of your strength. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands to heart center. And know that you can tap into this intuition and inner strength, this inner Gabby within you, at any given moment. That she lives eternally in each and every one of us. Know that with every breath, you can come back to this sensation within you. You can bookmark this episode and practice again and again anytime you need. Let's take one more breath together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And tap into our inner strength and intuition as you open your eyes and return to this space.